Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they pledge you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
Hi, Matt. I'm Sam Schultz.
Oh, hello, Sam. I'm Matthew Gatos. And this week, we're discussing the Muppet Show episodes that aired in New York between February 28th, 1981 and May 2nd, 1981. And those are the episodes featuring guests Gene Kelly, Paul Simon, and Gladys Knight. But before we discuss those, we must travel back in time.
Ooh.
You hear that? That's the time machine, taking us all the way back.
I was being pulled into a vortex.
Oh, no, that seems worse than just using a time machine.
Yeah.
You don't have control.
Naturally occurring time vortex.
You're going to get stuck back there and have to watch everything again that we've watched.
Oh, wait a minute. Like in real time, though?
Yep.
But I would know, and I would tape all this stuff. Oh, gosh, I wouldn't know. I'm too stupid.
Well, since we're traveling back to November 16th, 1975, you could create the Muppet Show, Sam.
Jim, I got a Cracker Jack idea for you. You know that dumb little frog puppet you have? He's going to be a star, baby. I'd ruin it, though. The Muppets wouldn't even exist.
Well, since we are traveling back in time, we are landing here in November 16th, 1975, because I made a discovery this week, Sam.
Did you? Yeah. How did you do it?
So from time to time, I think about the stuff that we haven't been able to watch. And so I go back through our old spreadsheet, and sometimes I'll look for specific Jimmy Dean things or Mike Douglas shows that I'm like, man, wish we had seen that. But other times, what I'll do is I'll just go on YouTube, and I will type in Muppets and hit upload date like the last couple months or the last year, because I'm like, well, I haven't hunted for something in the last few months, so maybe there's something newly uploaded.
You genius.
Look at me go. And
Is this
time,
the only time it's ever worked out?
No, I think there was at one point, I don't remember what it was. There was something that popped up as well. But this time it paid off because uploaded just on July 1st of this year, somebody uploaded some clips from the Cher show. I think it's just called Cher.
The Cher. It's not called the Cher show?
It's conflicting reports, Sam.
Okay.
Some people call it the Cher show. Some people just call it Cher. But that makes it also confusing to say, like, the Muppets were on Cher. But in this instance, this is
The Muppets were on Cher show Cher.
Correct.
How about that?
Yeah, that's less confusing. Sure. But the Muppets were on the Cher's show a couple of times, and we previously actually discussed the same episode that this newly discovered clip comes from, but we were not able to find this clip or the full episode. This is the same episode that had the clip of Chaz Bono and Kermit having a staring contest, and Ray Charles and Kermit singing Being Green.
Yes.
And we saw the very end of that episode where Sweetums and Jim and Cher were all like signing off, I believe, like by the piano or something. And so we saw those brief clips from it, but we had not seen this clip, which is Cher, Waldorf, Mildred, Sam the Eagle, and Kermit all in a pledge drive sketch reminiscent of PBS.
I feel like sketch is a very charitable thing to call it.
Well, I mean, they're doing comedy to a camera. But yeah, we watched this week just because it literally just came across.
Came across the desk, the commitment desk.
Yeah.
Right off the presses.
So this was just another thing that we had to go back and watch, and it's still on YouTube as of this very moment. I don't know, how long that will last, because I went to look at
Disney has their hunter-killer droids out.
Well, I went to look for the other Cher show clips that we had watched previously, and they were gone.
Maybe Cher has her hunter-killer droids out as well.
I mean, if you remember correctly, this is the episode that was on that like $100 DVD set from Time Life that you can get. So if Cher's trying to protect her legacy, I guess she needs to sell some $100 Time Life DVD sets.
She's sitting on a big box of them.
Yeah. So you can go find this on YouTube right now if you want. It is just called The Cher Show 0202, The Muppets Skit. This person who uploaded it is not somebody who traditionally uploads Muppet stuff. They seem to have uploaded clips from that episode of The Cher Show. And this just happened to be one of them that they chose to clip out. So
Interesting.
Thanks to them. What'd you think of it, Sam?
I thought it was fine. It had kind of a manic energy to it that we don't see as much in the Muppet Show, I feel like.
Well, it's also pre-Muppet Show, which is important to point out that this is, you know, we had Muppet Show Sex and Violence. We had that one clip on, I think it's Des O'Connor Entertains, which was the one show where we also had a Weird Waldorf, which we also get Weird Waldorf because he's performed by Jerry Nelson in this. And yeah, it's a different energy from almost everyone in the cast.
Yeah, Kermit's a little more like naive and a little more put upon, I feel like. Sam Eagle has a lot of Miss Piggy to him, I feel like. He's kind of busting Kermit's chops. In a way that I like it, but I feel like it doesn't. He's a better character if he is like the stodgy, stick up his ass guy. But I do miss when Kermit and Sam were kind of friends a little bit more.
Yeah, he's also got a little bit of a different look to him. He's got a much larger eyebrow going on.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
It kind of wraps all the way around his head. And his hair looks a little bit less like feathers and a little bit more like white, like old man hair. And yeah, there's a couple of moments in here that stood out to me. Like one, Mildred is just going for it. Like Richard Hunt as Mildred is like trying to make Mildred a star here. And there's a lot of also weird jokes about Kermit, about being a frog. And at one point they make a joke about him being a frog and he says, "That's a racial slur."
Yeah. I feel like that was a pretty common thing for Kermit around this time period. I feel like there's a lot of like conflating frog with a different race.
Yeah. Which I see how they got there. I see how they went from one thing to the next, but
I see how they got there in 1972 or whatever year this was.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a fun watch because it's something we haven't seen before, which is always fun. Especially traveling back and seeing characters pre-Muppet Show, what they were like, and So I'd say
Cher's fun. I love Cher.
Yeah, and she seems to be having a good time with the Muppets. It's a shame that she never showed up on the Muppet Show, even though she was apparently supposed to at one point.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, she was on a list of people announced to be on, I think, season 4. And I think the strike that happened at the TV station is maybe what screwed that up.
Messed it up.
But the closest you'll get to that is watching Cher hang out with the Muppets on the Cher's show, whatever it's called. So yeah, go seek out that clip if it's still on the internet as of the time you hear this.
The concept of it was a little confusing because it seemed like maybe like the whole show was about this fake pledge drive. But if the whole show wasn't about this fake pledge drive, then it didn't really make any sense.
Yeah, there was no real introduction to this sketch of like, we're here to raise money for this thing. They just dive right in of like, Channel 103 needs your help. And it's like, I don't know what any of this means. And it did seem like it was playing on the fact that like PBS does their fundraisers from time to time, but they also I think call it an auction, and I don't think they mention.
They start off calling it an auction, yeah.
But I don't even know if they mention any of the items that are on sale.
They do. They're like a neon crowbar. Remember, they're like ridiculous things. But then by the end, it's a pledge drive, I think.
Oh yeah, they offer a doorknob warmer as well. Yeah. I think I was so distracted by the performances that I didn't catch the items they were listing off.
I almost said a doorknob warmer is a real thing, but it's really only in Home Alone.
Yeah, which was a grill lighter, not an actual doorknob warming device.
Those are dangerous. Those are dangerous. Oh, it made me also think that it would be kind of fun if there was like a 24-hour long Muppet, like a total flop of a pledge drive like this, like a special episode of the Muppet Show, which is like save the show.
I mean, that's exactly what happens.
Movie, right?
Yeah, in 2011.
But that should be 24 hours long, actually. And by the end, all the Muppets will just be like, oh,
because the puppeteer's
hurts.
arms are sore.
Yeah.
So, again, before we get into talking about the Muppet Show this week, next week's episode, we should probably let you know, is going to be a little different. Because that episode is going to be released between mine and Sam's birthday. So we're doing a special birthday episode just like we did last year.
Except one major omission. We didn't buy each other presents.
I mean, we made that agreement, Sam.
I know, but I'm still disappointed.
We can change that. We can hurry up and buy a gift now.
Maybe.
You got a week?
We'll talk about it later.
All right. Well, last week for our birthday episode, we each picked a piece of puppet or Muppet adjacent media that isn't actually a Muppet or Henson production. So Sam picked Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge, and I picked What About Bob, which was directed by Frank Oz. So we decided to do the same kind of thing this year. And Sam, why don't you go first and let the people and me know what you picked for our birthday episode?
So I picked something that I have a clear memory of terrifying me out of my mind when I was a little child. I can remember watching it from behind a door, like peeking around the door frame. And that thing is a Eureka's Castle special episode called It Came From Beneath the Bed, or A Nightmare on Magellan Street.
Oh, no.
And there is an unsettling creature in it that you will see. That when I saw it, I was like, oh, that makes sense why it would have scared the shit out of me.
Interesting. I watched a lot of Eureka's Castle as a kid, so I'm excited to revisit it, but I do not remember being scared by an episode, so I may not have seen this one before.
It was created by R.L. Stine, so the fear is built right in to Eureka's Castle.
I picked something that I'm almost certain neither of us have ever seen. I know I haven't seen it. I picked the 2012 direct-to-DVD movie Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map.
I have never heard of this. Oh my God, they're puppets.
It features puppets of our well-known Scooby-Doo characters, and the puppets are performed by David Rudman, Eric Jacobson, Matt Vogel, Stephanie D'Abruzzo, Alice Dinian, Peter Linz, and Paul McGinnis. Very famous Muppet and Sesame Street performers.
What in the world?
Sadly, most of their voices are dubbed over by the original cartoon people,
guys,
or Matthew Lillard for Shaggy. Stephanie D'Abruzzo does get to do Velma, I believe, still. But yeah, this is a wild thing I came across in looking for what we should watch for our birthday video, for our birthday episode. And yeah, it is not made by the Muppets or the Jim Henson Company or anything. The only real connection is that we got a bunch of Muppet performers performing these puppets.
This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of it?
No, I mean, I watched the trailer. That's about it. It is available on HBO Max as of right now. Who knows what'll happen by the time you're hearing this. But yeah, so that means next week we will be watching Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map, and that really long name that Sam's going to say now.
We'll be watching Eureka's Castle, It Came From Beneath the Bed, or A Nightmare on Magellan Street.
And where can people watch that?
That's on YouTube.
Okay.
If you search for Eureka's Castle Halloween Special, it'll pop right up.
All right, well, now that we have the business out of the way and we have traveled back to our current day, or at least to 1981.
You did. I'm still stuck back here.
Oh, no, Sam. Well, maybe you can...
that radio from that movie where the radio can go through time. What movie is that? Signals, sequence, frequency? Frequency. Is that what it is?
I think so. Is that... Who's in that movie?
It's Matthew McConaughey in
I
that
thought
movie?
so. That's what I was going to say.
Dennis Quaid.
Oh.
The poor man's Matthew McConaughey.
I think just the 90s Matthew McConaughey. I like
the
that
plot follows John Sullivan, a homicide detective in New York who accidentally discovers a cross-time radio frequency. That's me and you right now.
Is it more like Frequency? Or is it more like The Lake House? Which one's happening right now?
Oh, the Lake House are writing... Oh, okay. It would be kind of cute to make a movie where two people are making a podcast across time, wouldn't it? And they have to send each other I'd have to send you a tape in the mail.
You have to send me like a reel-to-reel recording, and I'd have to like digitize it. It's a really like one-sided, frustrating relationship.
It's like one of those chess games that you play in the mail, except I'm just like, great point, Matt. Back to you.
And it takes 4 years to send, so we don't finish one episode until we're 75.
No, it didn't. It's really a commitment, isn't it?
Well, thankfully, Sam, we can both meet in the middle here in 1981 to discuss The Muppet Show, because it's time for me to ask you, Sam, what did we watch this week?
On February 28th, 1981, screen legend Gene Kelly is invited to be the Muppets guest, an invitation he misconstrues as being just a guest to watch the show, not to be on the show for some reason. So Gene basically just camps out right off stage watching the show and refusing to be in it, except for a few times when he is pretty much tricked into being on stage. Elsewise, Bo is all freaked out because Scooter predicted the end of the world with some tarot cards, so Bo is sort of just running around everywhere, interrupting sketches and telling people the world is ending and ruining the show with his presence. Standout moments include a pretty cute skit where Gene teaches Kermit to dance, and a legit great segment where Gene sings a love song to Piggy until she's called off because she's needed on stage, at which point Gonzo swaps in for the rest of the song, and it's pretty adorable. A couple more not strictly positive standouts. We see the Pigs in Space and Vets Hospital narrator, which is a choice that I don't really agree with. I don't think they ought to have done that. And Bo shows up on Vets Hospital for what is, in my opinion, the worst installment of the sketch of all time. Gene Kelly was a movie star, dancer, and filmmaker during the golden age of Hollywood, best known for a lot of stuff, but Singing in the Rain kind of stands out as a keystone of American culture. He started out on Broadway in the late 30s, then moved to Hollywood in the early 40s, where he was a choreographer and dancer, but not quite a star until 1951, when he starred in An American in Paris, and then starred in and directed Singing in the Rain the next year. And he got his foot in the door right as musicals were on their way out, but managed to stick around to appear in and direct about 1 billion movies, including Hello, Dolly. His final on-screen role was the infamous flop 1975's Xanadu, and in 1981 he was, I think, just living the life of a retired megastar. Next up, Paul Simon sleepwalks his way onto The Muppet Show on April 25th, 1981, to perform all of his most boring music. Gonzo is so moved by Paul's performances that he decides to become a musician himself, a decision that everyone hates, even though Gonzo has sung on multiple occasions on the show, because that's all anybody does on The Muppet Show. Part of Gonzo's repertoire includes a few Weird Al-esque takes on Paul Simon's music, but since Paul's ego is too delicate to take even the most gentle of ribbings, he sabotages Gonzo's big musical act. Standout moments include the fact that this was a Gonzo episode, and he showed a lot of pluck and courage in the face of extreme naysaying, mostly by Kermit, who is as mean in this episode as he has been in quite a while. And I actually don't think there are any particular moments of this episode that stood out, to me at least, upon further reflection. Paul Simon is one of the most famous musicians of our time, with hits so numerous it kind of feels silly to list them. His career began with his childhood friend Art Garfunkel as the duo Simon and Garfunkel, who released their first album in 1964. The duo would find commercial success in fairly short order with the soundtrack for 1967's The Graduate. By 1970, they had split ways, and Paul Simon went on to have a very successful solo career through the early 70s, and by the late 70s and early 80s, his career and output had kind of slowed down a bit. But in 1981, later this year that we're talking about, Simon and Garfunkel would reunite to play in Central Park, and that show would sort of re-kickstart his career into the Graceland era of the later 80s. Then, on May 2nd, 1981, Motown superstar Gladys Knight is the guest, and the Muppet Theater's leaky roof is getting a much-needed renovation. Unfortunately, it turns out the roof is so fucked up that the contractors working on it need to lift it off and tow it away for off-site repair, which they do right in the middle of the episode, leaving the remaining acts to be inundated with fog, wind, and snow. Standout moments include the plot with the roof being on, which in my opinion is just $1 billion idea for an episode. Gladys Knight is a great guest. There are lots of solid acts here, including a song sung by some creepy mummies, a number on a train with some great full-body backup singers, and the final act, Heard It Through the Grapevine, which is just fun with dancing grapes. And there are some really good character moments, like Rolf getting to do a short little interview with Gladys, and Fozzie falling victim to a blind knife thrower. That said, the UK spot, which was a performance of Alley Oop, was so annoying that it knocked a half star off of my rating. Gladys Knight, aka the Empress of Soul, is a singer known for songs like Midnight Train to Georgia and Heard It Through the Grapevine, just to name a few of very many. Her rise to stardom began around 1966 when she and her band, The Pips, were signed to Motown Records, and that band stayed active until 1988. They were winning Grammys and topping charts like throughout their whole run. Then Gladys went solo in 1988 and has basically been active and performing until this very day. In 1981, she was still with the Pips, and they had just signed with Columbia Records, I think, and they were putting out records and songs that were still hitting number one. And in non-Muppet world events, on March 30th, John Hinckley Jr. shot Ronald Reagan in an attempt to impress then-child actor Jodie Foster. And on May 1st, Friday the 13th Part 2 was released. That's all.
Landmark events in the history of the world.
Well, Friday the 13th Part 2 had the first time you saw the real Jason,
That is true.
Important.
Elsewhere in the world of the Muppets, we talked last time about how they were wrapping up filming The Great Muppet Caper. And Sam mentioned that it's, they should really take some time for themselves. They finished The Muppet Show. They've wrapped up Muppet Caper. This seems like a well-deserved time off. And Jim said, no, Sam, I will not rest ever. Because
he said to me, because I was there.
You were there. You traveled back, and you're like, dude, you really should take it easy.
You're so tired. You're so tired. You're about to invent Dog City.
Well, here's just what they did between March and April of 1981. In the first week of March, they were looping Great Muppet Caper, so doing some ADR that was necessary. Then on March 5th, 1981, they started filming The Muppets Go to the Movies with Dudley Moore and Lily Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
And they continued to work on that through at least March 17th, filming segments for that. Then, from March 21st to March 23rd, they had their first meetings on the ICS, which stands for International Children's Show, which is what became Fraggle Rock.
Right. How far are we out from Fraggle Rock?
A couple of years still. Okay. And then, April 15th, begin shooting the Dark Crystal.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jim.
No rest for the wicked here. Within a month, they finished Caper, filmed The Muppets Go to the Movies, started talking about Fraggle Rock, and then started shooting the Dark Crystal.
What a madman. I guess in a way it kind of makes sense to be done with The Muppet Show and be like, okay, I got to do something else now.
Well, and he specifically planned the Dark Crystal and Great Muppet Caper to be filmed back-to-back with mostly the same crew.
Sure.
And so I'm sure there were commitments that needed to be made there of how fast they had to start on that if you wanted to keep a lot of those same people around for the next movie.
Right.
So yeah, we are quickly approaching a lot of post-Muppet Show things because we are quickly approaching the end of the Muppet Show.
Rest in peace.
How are you feeling about that, Sam?
Great. I'm ready for it. I'm sick of the Muppet Show.
I feel like this every week now that we discuss the Muppet Show, that I definitely don't dislike the Muppet Show, obviously.
I occasionally do. Aren't there some where you're like, I hated that?
Well, so I don't know if it's me liking or disliking the actual episode, or if it's me disliking the idea of the Muppet Show in that moment, and if I'm just not feeling it, because we've talked about this off mic a bit, where the early days of this podcast was a lot of us learning new things about Muppets, seeing their characters change, debut, develop, all this stuff. And since we hit the Muppet Show, we've had this sort of like 5-year period where not a lot has changed.
Yeah.
In most of these characters. We obviously get developments, we get the Muppet movie, we get Gonzales of Chickens, but from the beginning of the Muppet Show to now, there hasn't been a huge development in a lot of these characters.
I think it'll be important that we watch this so closely, because this is what they have strip mined from now on, especially after Jim. This is like the raw material for what the Muppets are. But sheesh, it's thin soup sometimes.
Well, we only have 5 episodes of The Muppet Show left to discuss here on this podcast after this one. So we're getting real close there, Sam.
I think the thing also this week that was that kind of set me off was that the Gene Kelly episode was the last one that they made. And it's not very good. It was all leading up to that.
That is the last episode they filmed. However, not the last scene they filmed. The very last scene they filmed is the knife throwing act in the Gladys Knight episode.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so that's the very last thing they filmed for the Muppet Show.
And then they threw them all into the incinerator when they were done.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and head back to the beginning of our batch here with the Gene Kelly episode that aired on February 28th, 1981. Sam, what did you rate this episode?
Man, I gave this episode 2 stars.
Oh boy,
What did you give it?
So I'm just going to give you a heads up. I think I was feeling generous this week with my ratings.
Okay.
I gave this one 3.5 stars.
In your opinion, it was a great episode.
I mean, in my opinion, it's like an above average episode.
Okay.
One weird note about this that Disney Plus apparently did for some reason that Muppet Wiki mentions is that after the opening theme happens and before Kermit comes out on stage, there is a shot of like the audience from Kermit's point of view. Apparently that was added in the Disney Plus version, which just I don't know why it would be,
hell?
but it's there.
What possible reason could there be? I wonder if it changes the runtime of the episode, or if maybe there was like something like a glitch or something right there that they covered up.
I wonder if there's like a version of this where there's like a transition there that glitched or was edited out, or they were missing a few frames of something that they couldn't. They had to figure out a way to cover, and so they just pulled an old shot of the audience. But just thought I would note it.
I did notice that and think this doesn't happen very much, but maybe it should happen more often. But also, this shot looks like complete trash. Maybe
they didn't have. I don't remember the shot now exactly, but maybe they didn't have a shot of Kermit coming on stage, and so they didn't want to cut to him just standing there,
just being there.
And so maybe they cut to the audience first, so that to cover that. But it doesn't feel like a decision that Disney Plus should just make.
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, it doesn't affect the episode at all. It's just
I always wonder who's like sitting at Disney Plus HQ, just like looking at all this stuff and being like, "Yeah, should we cut that out?" It's like, what do they do all day?
Yeah, because especially like it's interesting that this batch did not receive. I'm not saying it should or shouldn't have. Didn't receive any sort of stereotype warnings or cultural warnings. But there are a couple moments in here that feel equal to things that have happened in the past that I wouldn't have been surprised.
I can't place any of them.
It's more so the appearance of certain stereotypical Muppets that they've used in the past. And maybe because they didn't have them speak this time, it was okay. But yeah, who knows?
Right.
But getting back to the beginning of the Gene Kelly episode, as Sam mentioned, Gene Kelly is just here to enjoy. He's just here to chill and watch the show.
This annoyed me so bad. He was being such a party pooper.
Hey, if I invited you to a party and you get there and I said, "Hey, why didn't you bring all the food?" You're hosting this party.
I think if you invited me to be on a show, I would ask, "Wait, am I supposed to be on the show, or am I supposed to come see you at?" It's like, where is this confusion?
Gene Kelly is a busy man. He cannot be bothered to ask follow-up questions.
He was
just
in
be very
Xanadu.
clear with him.
He was not. He was in Xanadu 5 years before and didn't do anything after that. He's not a busy man.
He's just counting his money. That's what he's doing.
That's true. That is probably true. He's dancing up and down Broadway. Like just the street, not the actual like theater. He's just dancing around town for everybody.
So a hypothetical then, imagine we were invited to go watch a play somewhere, say New York,
Matt,
on
you have
Broadway
to
or
assume
something.
the person who books the Muppet Show reached out to... This has never been a problem with any other guest before. This is the common denominator here is Gene Kelly. He is the one confused. Every other guest has understood their role on the show.
But I think the main point here is that person must not have been very clear. And also, I don't think Gene Kelly watches The Muppet Show.
That is absolutely true. He has no idea.
So this is his first exposure to The Muppet Show, is Kermit calling him up and saying, "Hey, come to The Muppet Show." And so he maybe doesn't even know there are celebrity guests on this show. We have the backstage segment here where Scooter has his fortune-telling cards, and he tells Beauregard that it is the end of the world, which, of course, Beauregard believes, and because he's a big dumb head. During this, it's just a little bit confounding because Kermit is asked to dance, and Kermit says he can't dance his way out of warm Jell-O.
We've seen this fool dance all over the place.
We've seen him dance multiple times, Sam. He did
Isn't
a whole
there like
Happy
a
Feet
skit?
number.
Yeah, there's a skit about how good he is at dancing.
Yeah. And because we don't see his feet in that one, but everyone's like, "Whoa, he's the best dancer I've ever seen."
Maybe he's being coy, though, to trick Gene, you know? He sees a plot unfolding in his head.
I guess.
And he knows Gene's never seen the show and doesn't know who the Muppets are. So he's like, oh, yeah, I guess
he's thinking like 12 steps ahead.
Yeah, I think he's playing 4D chess.
Well, it does work because Kermit tricks Gene into giving him dance lessons. And Gene's like, all right, anytime, anywhere. And Kermit's like, all right, how about over here on stage? And Gene's like, okay, whatever. And they open up the curtain, and Gene goes, aha.
You got me.
You got me.
I should have known when I stepped into this very beautiful 80s living room set that something was about to happen.
It looks like something from the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
Like what the future would have been when they originally opened the Carousel of Progress.
What like 2050 was gonna look like. Which who knows? I don't know. That's a cool house.
Yeah. Get black toilets back in fashion.
Oh no. I can't poop in a black toilet. It's
Ever?
too weird. It's too weird looking.
They are bizarre. I had a few friends in high school who like had that style of house with the black toilet and black sink and everything. They're just not right.
Yeah. Poop should be on a white background.
You heard it here, folks.
No other color.
Strong stances from Sam Schultz.
Yeah. Yeah, this was also very cute. This was like, this reminded me of like a late show thing they could have done.
Yeah, it's clever because at first you don't really realize what's happening. Like they have a really tall black piano on
very,
stage.
Very tall black piano.
Suspiciously tall black piano on
Just
stage.
Big black monolith rising from the back of this piano.
And what it is it's a black curtain to hide Kermit's performers because he hops up on top of that piano and does a nice, cute little dance with Gene Kelly. I think it's a very good effect.
Together. I think so too. Sometimes when you have a full body, like in Disco Frog, is that what it was called? Something like that. That was horrible. The dancing was not good. Like they were just flailing all over the place. But this time he and Gene are dancing in tandem and it looks terrific.
But even after that happens, Gene Kelly doesn't go, you know what, Kermit, I'm on board. Let's do this show together. He's still just like,
no spirit of teamwork.
No, not at all. And for better or worse, this is a very Bo-heavy episode.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we're backstage again. Beauregard is losing it, and he is giving away all of his stuff because the world is coming to an end. Because Bo is worried sick, Rolf overhears this and goes, well, we need someone for Vet's Hospital who's sick. So get on the stage. And you...
This is, I wrote here, fuck Bo, and Bo sucks.
Well, yeah. Do you want to explain your hatred of this Vet's Hospital?
I just think it's not. I think it's mostly not funny because they're making jokes about this character that don't apply to anything else instead of making like puns that are widely applicably funny. It's like, I don't give a shit about this guy. I don't want to hear jokes about like how this character's dumb. You invented this character. It's not like funny to write jokes about this character being dumb. Does that make any sense?
A little bit, but I also think this sketch in general just falls apart at different points. There's a very weird part where Janice says, "Are you calling the patient stupid, Dr. Bob?"
Yeah.
And they, like, Rolf and Piggy, like, ask her to do a second take.
Yeah.
And she does it, and they're like, oh, I liked it better the first time. And if there's a joke there, I completely missed it. It went over my head.
Or if it was real and they just left it in because they kind of liked it. I don't know.
I don't know. It was just very weird that, like, she said something, they asked her to say it again, and it didn't seem like there was a joke in there.
Yes, I agree. But, like, I could see that in a real, like, if you went to a real variety show like this and somebody messed up their line, which she didn't even mess up the line.
No.
First of all, it didn't sound weird. I could see it happening, but it's just, like, not something that's ever happened on the Muppet Show before. So I don't know if it's, I agree. That was very strange.
And then the main thing it seemed like you had a problem with is that the announcer falls into the scene and we see the announcer.
Yeah. It just seems like it's funnier. First of all, why would he be up there? He wouldn't be up there.
That's where
He'd
they always
be talking. I know, but it's because the loudspeakers are up there, like booming
apparently
the
not.
Sound down. But that's what the implication has been. I feel
that's what you thought.
He's the voice of God. He's not standing in the rafters looking down at them. What possible purpose could that serve?
Seems like that's where he's been this whole time, Sam.
But why? But that doesn't make any sense.
There's no room for him elsewhere. I got chickens popping out of every corner of this place.
I guess I'll just sit up here then.
Yeah.
It just seemed unnecessary. I like it better. I like him better as a idea than as this boring blue Muppet.
Yeah, I think I understand doing it in your last episode that you're filming.
Yes, that in retrospect, I didn't think about that. That does make sense.
I think if you're trying to like sort of have the payoff to this kind of thing where you're wrapping up your show, this is the last thing. It's like your only chance to show this announcer. Why not do it in your final
like showing
episode?
the bottom of Wilson's face.
Exactly. This was our Wilson.
Well, Wilson was just a normal, boring guy too.
See, yeah, it's always a disappointment to reveal the the secret members of your show.
Yeah.
But then the UK spot is two dogs singing "Fit as a Fiddle," and I have to imagine that's only because that song is in "Singing in the Rain."
Oh, I did write in my notes that we're getting closer to Dog City every day.
Those dogs are, especially
They're in
that
the
dog
city,
on the
aren't
left,
they?
is
Yeah.
pretty close. We do get what might be the Muppets' first gay kiss, though.
Yes, I made note of that as well.
Yeah, just the two. I guess we read them as male in the plot of this the story. Are
Also, the
trying
Muppets'
to
first thruple as well. If those two dogs
That's
were
true.
having their way with it.
They didn't seem
yeah.
to be competing over the female French poodle.
No, she just was unaware of the situation.
Yeah, but maybe they find love with each other in the end.
Could be.
And speaking of romance, we have Gene Kelly falling in love with maybe Piggy, but also maybe Gonzo.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. He sings "You Wonderful You" to Miss Piggy, but Gonzo comes in to say, "Hey, Miss Piggy, you got to get ready for Pigs in Space." And no one bats an eye, and Gonzo's like, "Wait, I'm here. You want to sing to me, maybe?"
And Gene is a little bit like, oh, I don't know, this might be weird. But then once he starts, he's like, all right, you're pretty cute too.
And he boops him on his nose.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
It just gives him a little boop.
You can kind of tell that he's like looking at Gonzo and like, whoa, I like this little guy for real in real life.
Yeah. And then it is time for Pigs in Space. And we have confirmed that we have the same announcer.
Yep.
So we've alluded to that in the past where, the Vets Hospital crew would visit Pigs in Space and they'd say, hey, we have that guy on our show.
Uh-huh.
But they never actually confirmed this is the same human.
Right.
Now it's confirmed this man is the same exact man announcing both shows. He is here, and it's important that he's here this time because the pigs are traveling towards the end of the universe, much like the show and much like Bo. We are traveling towards the end, folks. And when we get to the end of the universe, we will be told the meaning and purpose of life. But unfortunately, it's going to take a minute to get there.
Yeah.
And
And
the
you
swine
have to
trek...
be looking directly at this big ball of light, I guess, to get the message.
Yeah, you have to be there. You have to wait until you get to the ball of light. But it's also lunchtime or dinner time. And the swine trek crew is hungry. And there's swill stroganoff being made, and they cannot resist it. So even though we all have an on-screen timer that we're looking at as it counts down from minutes, the swine trek crew can't wait that long for dinner, and they race off, and they miss the meaning and purpose of life. And before we find out the meaning and purpose of life, we are interrupted by a Muppet news flash, which reveals that the meaning and purpose of life has been revealed. But of course, the newsman has lost his paper that had the answer on it, so he doesn't get to tell us either. And we cut back to the swine trek, where the crew has returned, and they're upset because they missed out on learning the meaning and purpose of life. But our faithful announcer says, well, I know something you don't know.
I hated this, but at the same time, I thought it was interesting. I don't know. It was like almost like modern, like anti-comedy a little bit, where you're just like standing there, they're just like standing there watching something silently.
It was, yeah. It was interesting to watch them stand there with an on-screen timer, and I really thought they were just going to stand there for the entire minute,
Yeah,
and see what happens. For a show that is usually very loud and chaotic, that was a very reserved moment.
it was a fun little change of pace, and it was kind of like weirdly fun to have like. It was really interesting to have like a moment like this with the swine trek crew, who are always like exploding and like not on screen for very long, but just to see them kind of like not doing anything and standing there. But I don't know. What did you think of this?
I think it was fine. I like the idea behind it more than the execution, but
Yeah, I agree.
I did like incorporating the newsman into their sketch. I did like, I don't know, it made me feel like Pigs in Space and the newsman. I don't usually care enough about either of those sketches in the show. They
Yeah.
sort of wash over me.
Right.
But both of these felt like they mattered a bit more.
It was a nice
and-
it was a nice send-off for both of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
precisely.
I feel like it almost didn't need the button with Pigs in Space with the announcer. Like, it could have been funny if it had just stopped with the newsman being like, I don't know, I lost the sheet. I
think that could have worked. But now we're backstage, and Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers want to perform, and Kermit says, hey, no, we've got Gene Kelly. We don't need you fools. Then they give away the secret to Gene Kelly that they were hoping he would perform Singing in the Rain. And he's like, no, I would never do that. I am above the thing that made me famous.
He's like, I hope you don't think I'm going to sing this song. And they're like, of course not.
Right, yes. Yes, I think he says that he realized he could never do it better than they did it in the movie, and so he refuses to ever do it again, which I guess.
It seems like a cop-out.
And it also seems a little bit like the attitude you said, or at the beginning, you didn't really like his attitude towards the show and towards being here, and I feel like this is a little bit more of like that. It's not just the like, I refuse to do it, I don't have the right set or the right blah, blah, blah. He's just like, I kind of don't do that stuff anymore.
I don't feel like it.
Yeah. So Kermit is forced to send Lubbock Lou and his Jug Huggers out on the set they had built for Singing in the Rain, and they are there to perform Cool Water while it rains. I think this is probably the episode where Zeke got his name, though.
That's what I'm thinking, too. This isn't where Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers in general got their name, is it?
No, I think they've mentioned that previously, but
Okay.
I don't think Zeke had been called out by name until this episode.
This like elevated them to an almost Electric Mayhem level of characterization, which I liked.
Yeah. But in the last episode they ever filmed.
Yeah, acknowledging that this band exists in the final episode.
Mhm. But Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers are not going anywhere. They'll stick around for a while, so we're not done with them. But the show is almost done, and we get a very weird backstage sketch. I say weird just because of the people who join in.
Yeah,
on
for the
this one.
last ever Muppet Show sketch.
Yeah, it sort of seems like, it feels like they called in and they were like, hey guys, we want to get everyone together for this last sketch, and some people had already like gone home. And they're like, oh, I can't, I'm sorry. And so they got like, okay, well, we'll fill the gaps in with some Muppets that people don't care about as much.
Yeah, like Fozzie is already like, I'm sorry, I got booked. I already have a show booked.
Well, and apparently even Gaffer took off because Foo-Foo
Oh yeah,
is sitting in
there.
Gaffer's spot.
Why? What possible reason? It's almost like this is the first episode of the season, and they were like, oh, we cut this hole so an animal can sit here. What animal should sit here?
But yeah, we get a weird group, including, Floyd, Swedish Chef, New Zealand, Pops, some of the Jug Huggers, Annie Sue, and one Muppet that we have not seen yet, and I did not recognize because
No.
it's just a lump of
'Cause
yellow
it looks
fluff.
like nothing. I thought it was like a ham sandwich. What's his name? Ham Hocks?
Chopped liver.
Yeah, chopped liver.
No, this is actually Lottie Lemon and her singing wig, who we will be discussing in just a little while in the Wally Bogue episode of The
Okay.
Muppet Show. So it makes sense that we would not recognize this Muppet because we have not met this Muppet, but
But does it make sense that they put her in there?
not at
No.
all. And we still don't really get the Singing in the Rain Gene Kelly number that I thought we were going to get.
No. This is so stupid.
Rolf starts to try and trick Gene Kelly into performing Singing in the Rain by playing the opening notes of the song. And every time he does, Gene starts singing a different song.
They're all the same song, apparently.
Apparently, it's, that the ice cream chords or the four chords song
Right.
kind of thing where it's like, hey, these all have the same intro. Weird, wacky stuff. But then they do sing a little bit of Singing in the Rain. And then he just kind of walks off into the sunset down the set that they have built that looks
walks
just like the
into the
Singing in the Rain set.
And it's like, here it comes. He's going to do a dance. Then he just keeps walking.
Oh, I also forgot to mention the one character we see in the background of that sketch when they're backstage with all the weird random Muppets. Angus McGonagall is there again.
Just who I wanted to see in the last episode of the Muppet Show.
Bring back Angus.
Yeah.
And then the show is over. We're signing off. And even though it is the last episode they will film, Kermit still says we'll see you next time on The Muppet Show.
Yeah. I feel like the implication of the Muppet Show is that there's many more episodes than the ones that we see.
Well, and because of the nature, I think, of syndication, Jim knew these things weren't going out in any order.
Right.
It's also weird to me. I don't I haven't looked into it much, but like the production number wise, and if you look on Disney Plus, the Gene Kelly episode is the first episode.
Yeah.
It is
I thought that was weird.
501. And if it was the last episode filmed, the production numbers don't always line up with the filming order, but they get close. The fact that this is the last one filmed and the first one in the production order is kind of bizarre. And so, yeah, if you're just watching straight through on Disney Plus, this is the first season 5 episode you will see.
Do you know why there's such a big gap in between these episodes airing also?
I never know. I think, like, it's one of those things where obviously the episodes are done and finished, ready to air, and it always seems like they're very busy during those gap times, but that can't be the reason the episodes are going up late.
Correlation there.
No,
yeah.
they finished these episodes like a year or like 6 months before.
Unless they get back to the office and like, oh my God, we forgot to mail this one.
Quick, send it off. It's the Paul Simon one. Fine, whatever, send it off. There's also a weird Muppet Wiki note that I'm gonna trust him, but it says that for the filming of the final number, Gene Kelly had not brought any black shoes, thinking his feet wouldn't be seen on camera. So David Laser happened to have the same shoe size and lent Kelly his black shoes, which, quote, Kelly wore and subsequently ruined.
He must have shitty shoes if walking through a puddle.
Yeah.
Mess him up.
Like, I don't know what ruined the shoes, because he just walks through like a stage. He doesn't even like step in a puddle.
No, it's just a slightly wet stage.
Gene Kelly is wearing black shoes when he's dancing with Kermit earlier in the freaking show.
That's kind of what I assumed that they maybe were talking about.
Yeah,
Was
maybe.
they thrashed those shoes? Because that would make sense.
Yeah, no idea. But
does dancing in shoes, when you're a really good dancer, destroy the shoes?
If you're a really good dancer, email us and let us know.
Yeah. Or does David Laser have bad shoes?
Yeah, he just bought some like cardboard shoes.
They spent all the money on Vindiface, and I'm still hurting from it.
But since Gene Kelly has walked off into the sunset, that must mean it's time for the April 25th Paul Simon episode of The Muppet Show, where Paul Simon is about to perform 7 songs.
Jesus Christ, and none of them are as good songs either.
Speaking of his good songs, we did get to see him perform Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard with the little girl on Sesame Street who kept improvising her own parts and throwing him off.
And he seemed mad.
He seemed a little aggravated.
And he seems mad throughout this whole episode as well.
Yeah, so this is an entire evening devoted to the music of Paul Simon. What'd you rate this one, Sam?
I gave this one 2 stars, and I feel like I should have given it 1.5 stars. I just couldn't make myself do it.
See, this is one where I was feeling generous, and I gave it 4 stars.
Holy schmoly.
I think it's because of the gonzo of it all, really.
The gonzo of it all is the only reason I could give it 2 stars, too.
Gonzo lifts this up quite a bit.
Yeah, this is a
and
great
I feel
Gonzo
like
episode.
I enjoy the ideas behind this episode, and there's certain character moments throughout this episode that I really enjoy. But yeah, Paul Simon's not the best.
Oh, God. He seems like such an asshole.
And yeah, this is where the lever jokes start, is at the very beginning of this episode, because Pops is trying to fix a lever, whatever you want to say, to adjust the trap doors, which doesn't feel like a thing Pops should be in charge of.
No.
We haven't seen Bunsen and Beaker in a couple weeks here in our watchings. Yeah, they're like, we need to cut some costs running into the end of the season. Muppet Labs cost way too much.
Bo doesn't draw a salary because he's been fired. So you two, he just stayed, but you two are actually fired.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's like Ghostbusters. That's like the plot of Ghostbusters.
This is exactly like Ghostbusters. This is where they stole it from.
I think Ghostbusters already was out, wasn't it?
No. Ghostbusters was like 84, 85.
It was?
Yeah.
I could have sworn Ghostbusters was like 80. Oh, 84. This is where they stole it from. Dan Aykroyd was like, I've got it.
Those fucking Muppets I used to work with, I'll steal their ideas.
He put puppets in Ghostbusters. He loved puppets, I bet. I bet he really wanted them to work out.
Get him on the podcast and ask him about puppets.
Oh, I would love to have Dan Aykroyd on the podcast. I bet that guy is so weird.
Yeah, he was on an episode of Off Menu with Ed Gamble and James Acaster that they had to do a special warning at the beginning of the episode to say, hey, Dan Aykroyd had no idea what podcast he was coming on. And so this is a weird episode.
I love it.
So I don't know how that would go, but... You know, Dan Aykroyd, if you're out there and you want to come on Kermit Mint and talk about some Muppets or ghosts or aliens, whatever you want to talk about.
Anything. Crystal skulls. Come on, man.
We would have to promote his vodka, I think, at least 30 times an episode.
I would be drinking it as we recorded.
That might make things easier.
Yeah.
But the Pops segment ends with Paul helping out, trying the lever, because, of course, he says it. I know 50 ways to love your lever.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense in this instance, though. It's funny the second time.
Yeah, but because we already heard it one time, and Paul
less
says it with all the energy of somebody waking up from a coma.
After all, I know 50 ways to love your lever.
And then just like glances off screen like, I can't believe you're making me say this shit.
He like looks at his feet. He's like, so I hate this guy.
But then the opening number is what Brian Henson has said was the most complex staging of a sequence on the series, which does make sense because we are seeing Scarborough Fair in a Renaissance Fair style performance, and they move throughout this whole set as they perform the number. We get to see a puppet show. We get like a bunch of characters getting their own little moments. Notably, the puppet show that's happening is a Punch and Judy style puppet show.
Mm-hmm.
And the Judy looks just like Miss Piggy.
A really cute little piggy.
Yeah.
I like that puppet a lot.
It's like Miss Piggy if she was in It's a Small World.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure someday she will be.
Just hiding the Muppets throughout.
Yeah.
It's a Small World.
They have done that with all the other characters, you know?
Yeah, but, I mean, they did it with the characters that make sense for the regions.
There's a New York part. Put them there.
They could just put all the
Kermit
Muppets.
and Piggy getting married
That'd be cute.
in the America scene.
That'd be cute.
There you go.
And the Swedish Chef can be
In Sweden.
in Sweden.
Yeah. Is there a Sweden? There probably is a little
Probably
bit of one.
is, yeah.
There's probably like 3 guys from Sweden. This was fine. Partway through, Rachel left the room and then came back and said, "This is still going on." Yeah. This is the longest sketch in the history of the Muppet Show. Possibly is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an impressive amount of stuff that is happening all at once, but it's not a coherent plot throughout the sketch.
No.
And at the very end, Link comes in to arrest Paul for playing a lute without a license. But it feels like one of those things of like, we don't know how to end this sketch.
Yeah.
Because if there was a Bear on Patrol later where Paul was in jail,
Old time
sure.
jail. That would be fun. But they don't put guests in sketches, much to everyone's detriment. And Paul Simon is just a complete black hole of charisma who destroys everything he touches. It is kind of fun that all these guys stick around through the rest of the episode, though. All of the props and stuff from this sketch.
Yeah, specifically, the Stilt Walker is the one I enjoy the most because he's being, if not performed, at least voiced by Frank Oz throughout the show. And we just get some very good, funny moments of the Stilt Walker falling over repeatedly
Screaming,
backstage.
Yeah.
And not just getting off of the stilts.
Well, maybe they're he's a Muppet, so he could be organically attached to the stilts.
Those are actually just his legs.
Yeah.
Those are his toenails.
Yeah, those are his real feet. Those are his real legs. That's his shirt is his skin. You know.
Then we have maybe my favorite part of the episode. Floyd and Janice sing 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover with Animal and Rizzo as their little backup band.
Oh, I did not like this because their singing was so bad.
Oh, see, I liked it because I felt like both Janice and Floyd were very earnest and very straightforward in their the way they kind of did Blackbird.
I do agree with that, but I think it still didn't sound good.
I enjoyed it. And Animal is very reserved. He actually is a controlled drummer who does a good job in this. And Rizzo's got cute little monkey cymbals.
Yeah, the puppetry of it all I did enjoy. I thought it looked good. That Floyd's voice was just grating on me in this one.
I think Floyd and Janice just felt very real to me in this sketch. They felt like, yes, they are a couple.
That does make sense. Yeah.
And of course, because it's this episode, next up we have another Paul Simon song. This time it's Long, Long Day, which is performed back in the dressing room because Pops asked him to sing it for some reason.
Yeah. They didn't really try very hard to write this one. Pops is just like, I like this song. And Paul Simon's like, okay.
Yeah, they were even just like, who do we have do this? I don't know. I guess get Pops out of the box.
Yeah, the only time anyone's ever talked to Pops aside from the top of the show. The only person who wants to spend any time with Paul Simon is the horrible old man nobody likes. The song is so boring. I like Paul Simon music, but only some of it, and some of it's so boring.
And as you said in your description, they chose a lot of his most boring songs.
Yeah. This was his career slump. He was in his career slump right now. So I think that's
Maybe he was sad.
I don't know. I don't think he's self-aware enough to be sad.
Then we have a weird UK spot in this episode, which features, I think, some of the best stuff in the episode.
Yeah, me too.
Which is a weird place to hide it. So we have a vet's hospital, which starts off the UK spot. And this almost like accidentally connects to the Gene Kelly episode because Dr. Bob, Rolf, is shocked that he cured his last patient. And in that one, they make a joke about it being the end of the world because he was curing a patient.
Yes.
But obviously, these were filmed not in that order. They were not intended to be aired in that order.
Yeah.
That just a happy coincidence. But Gonzo is here to mostly he wants to donate his body to science.
Yeah. Before his death, I believe. Or he wants to be killed then and there. Not really sure.
I put in my notes during this that for some reason, just the energy, it feels like they're wrapping things up.
Uh-huh.
Like this to me just felt like this is something you do when your show is getting close to the end and you're just Gonzo's a star, Vet's Hospital is a success. And so you're just letting Gonzo be the most Gonzo. And it really feels like, the later seasons of Friends when like everyone gets a giant applause from the audience as soon as they enter.
Yeah. And they all start dressing like they have millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. And in Gonzo's case, that's a Mexican poncho.
So why is he wearing that through the whole episode?
Great question. I mean, I don't know if there's a good reason other than the fact that he later on performs El Condor Pasa.
Yes. Then it does make sense.
But he's not like
he's like moving backwards through time compared to everyone else.
Yeah, it's that Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet.
Yeah, he's teneting.
If you watch this episode backwards, you can see Gonzo's real story.
Then it makes sense, yeah.
But then the second part of the UK spot is a weird little Statler and Waldorf thing where Statler is freezing cold in his box up there and yells to Waldorf off screen, "Bring me back my coat." And Waldorf mishears this as goat.
Yeah.
And Waldorf brings him a goat.
So stupid, but for some reason I also really loved this.
I liked it too. Like partially just because Statler was like, I don't know, they have a nice little friendship.
Just a little slice of life with these two.
Yeah. And then the UK spot continues. There's 3 segments to this UK spot, apparently.
They really had to cram all that boring Paul Simon music into this episode. They couldn't cut any of it out.
Yeah. They're like, anything that's not Paul Simon, stick it in the UK spot.
Yeah.
But we have, most of the news flashes are things falling on the newsman's head. This one, for some reason, I liked a little bit more than the average one.
This one works. They set it up as an actual reason that something would fall on his head.
Yes, he comes out to announce that all library fines will be forgiven if all those library books are returned to the TV station in the next 3 seconds.
I also like, after he says that, he's kind of like, what? What the hell? He gets smooshed.
It's like, this is a weird rule.
Yeah. I think that little bit of self-awareness for me was what made it funny.
Then Gonzo continues to be the greatest part of this episode because he rushes into Paul Simon's dressing room and offers to sing Paul Simon one of his songs. Gonzo's really pulling a lot of the weight here with as far as charisma goes.
All of the weight.
But he has a song called For You, which he sings, which has the lyrics, "For you, I'd wash my hair with stinky glue. I'd fry my legs and eat them too. I'd put a spider in my shoe for you."
And Paul hates it. Any other guest, I think, would be like, "That's a great song. Let's sing it together."
Right.
But Paul Simon's like, "This song's so stupid. Fuck
He's just
you,
way too
Gonzo."
focused on, this is my favorite guitar I've ever had. Do not touch it, you weird turkey. But yeah, Paul agrees to never play the guitar again, the one he's holding specifically, his favorite one.
Unless he's playing a Gonzo song.
Yes. And so, you get that small moment where maybe Paul Simon's coming around, but no, he smashes his guitar.
His favorite guitar ever.
His favorite guitar. He would rather smash his favorite guitar than do a song with Gonzo.
Moment considering this little twerp. Fuck you.
I'm bringing, this episode's working its way down to a 3.5 or a 3 for me as we talk about it.
He's such a jerk.
Yeah.
I think Kermit's a jerk next.
Why do you think Kermit's a jerk?
Because Gonzo's sung on this show 1,000,000 times. And then Kermit's tells him he can't sing and begs him not to sing. But he's sung so many times and he can't really sing. That's accurate. But neither can any of them.
Yeah, Kermit begs Gonzo to not sing and to instead perform the act that he rehearsed earlier, which was apparently an underwater heart operation on himself. But Gonzo claims the last time I did it, I died.
I loved that so much.
It's very
laugh so
exciting.
hard for some reason.
I feel like there should have been like a pause for a laugh break there, and there just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like that line needs to be appreciated.
You know what? Also, they've really overused the Gonzo sound effect in this one. That's the downside of Gonzo episodes, is that just let him walk into a scene. He doesn't have to do that every time.
They should make it that by the end he's exhausted.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like you hear the sound, and then he's like, "Oh God, okay, here we go."
Or you hear it really slow.
Yeah, just like stones grinding on stone. Just
Yeah.
And then because Gonzo has stolen the limelight from Paul, Paul decides to steal Gonzo's one and only love, his chickens.
The only thing that makes him happy in life.
And it works. I mean, there's no real repercussions for Paul doing
Crushes
this.
Gonzo's soul.
Yeah, just I want to make that weird guy sad.
Yeah.
Is his goal. And then we get Baby Driver.
Yeah, for no reason, but also this is pretty good.
Because there's baby puppets, Sam.
Yeah.
We have babies who can sing a song about babies. Paul Simon has a song about babies. Wrap it up.
This made me think that it would have been funny if they okay, so I don't like Paul Simon as a person because I think he's a jerk. Like in real life, I think he's a huge asshole.
Yeah, I don't. My only knowledge about Paul Simon comes from Carrie Fisher's books, and I don't really remember much about them.
Well, I think he screwed over Los Lobos. I think he screwed over Ladysmith Black. What are they called? Ladysmith Black Mombasa. I think he screwed over Ladysmith Black Mombasa. He's just, I think, is not a nice person. So I think it would have been funny if they probably didn't know that, but if they had made this episode centered around making him angry, I feel like having to play a song with a bunch of babies would have been very, if he had been there and all the babies were like, well, yip, 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 singing the song bad and playing kazoos, I would have liked to see him be upset by that. But I liked this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer that it seems like Paul Simon gets the most songs of any musical performer we've seen on the Muppet Show featured.
Yeah.
But he also seems like some of the other past musical performers, a guy who comes in and goes, "Yeah, but I don't really want to do anything with Muppets.
I'd rather not look at a Muppet if you please."
Yeah, I'll perform my song sitting in a dressing room playing guitar. They can be around me. But the Scarborough Affair is the most involved he gets, and that's the very first opening thing.
Uh-huh.
And then everything else, he's just kind of off to the side watching somebody else perform his song, or he's sitting backstage, or at the very end, he's just performing, but not telling the story like he is in the Scarborough Affair one.
Yeah, he seems like a real stick in the mud.
Yeah, a little bit. This is where I made the note of, Frank Oz doing a great job as a stilt walker backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stilt walker has been going through a lot of stuff, and he does now get hit with a boomerang fish to the head. Which
Have we ever seen anyone get hit by a boomerang fish?
I think so.
You think so? It would have been funny if it had decapitated him. And
Just
they were all
goes right through
That's
him.
what those were this whole time? Dear God. He's a pink mist.
We should have stopped him a long time ago. Is that pink from the stilt walker or the fish?
It's a little bit of both.
But yeah, Lou, clearly, you don't accidentally throw a boomerang fish that high. So
No.
Lou was aiming for him. And it's time for Paul Simon to sing with the little carol chanting whatnots as he sings Loves Me Like a Rock with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem as well. And nothing really happens.
Nothing happens. It
There's
just
no
looks
rocks
like he's-
that fall. There's
Yeah.
no cavemen. There's no nothing
Oh
on
my
theme.
gosh, all that would have been great.
Yeah. But nope. Pretty straightforward when it comes to the Paul Simon numbers.
His face could have been in a giant rock. He just could have been a rock man. And then what would have loved him? A dinosaur, an ogre of some sort. I
That
don't know.
brontosaurus that they got.
The brontosaurus that they got.
Maybe scissors and paper are there.
That could be fun.
And this is the Muppet Show.
I mean, I'm
writer's
sure they
room.
thought of all of that, and then Paul Simon said, "I'm going to play it normally."
Yeah,
on
I
a
did the
stage
fair
that looks
thing
like
for
a
you.
stage."
I'm not doing anything other than the fair. So you got me in tights. Be happy about it. Any closing thoughts on the Paul Simon episode there, Sam?
No, just guys, is the big bummer.
Well, you know who's not a big bummer? The May 2nd, 1981 guest of the Muppet Show, Gladys Knight.
No, she's delightful.
Sam, would you rate this episode?
I give this one 4 stars.
Also 4 stars from me. It opens up with, you mentioned that the main plot of this episode is that the roof gets taken away. But they seed that very nicely at the beginning with something that I didn't think was actually going to be a payoff.
Yeah.
They talk about the roof leaking, and so somebody's working on it. And
isn't it funny that the bar is so low that when they do this, it's like, this episode was fantastic.
they carried a joke throughout the whole 27
they
minutes.
The plot before 15 minutes into the episode.
But the episode starts off as, of course, Pops does not know who this person is. He never knows who's here walking through his door. Seems like
Neither
maybe the
do
worst
I,
person.
Pops. It's okay. If you say your name, though, then I'll be like, aha.
We should have recorded these episodes in a way where you didn't get to know what episode we were watching next. We just started off the episode blindly, and you started, and then when they walk in, you're like, ah, shit, who's this?
Yeah, me and Pops simultaneously going, who the hell are you?
But it is Gladys Knight, and when she
You know what? And in real life, like yesterday, everybody thought Gladys Knight was Dionne Warwick at that tennis game.
Not everyone. One commentator.
The whole world thought it.
Yeah, everyone else was like, that's Dionne Warwick. Because they were both at the U.S. Open.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But in the shot they showed on camera, it was Dionne Warwick sitting there, and they said, hey, Gladys Knight's here. But this episode does start off with the joke of Pop saying, I'm Gladys Knight, too. It's too hot when it's during the day.
That's just very funny.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And she is okay with this, she says, but they only get one. You can only make one Gladys Knight joke. And then the construction worker who's repairing the leaky roof makes a Gladys Knight joke. And she shakes the ladder and tries to murder him.
Attempted murders him, yeah.
But I love how she looks super serious into the camera after she does that to him. And is just like, I told them they get one. That's it.
Some people can get away with looking in the camera. She's one of those people.
Well, because she's one of the few who actually looks like she means what she says when she does that.
Yeah.
Like she looks into the camera and she's like, I told him. There would be repercussions if they made another joke.
Yeah.
Then as Kermit attempts to introduce the opening number, the construction workers are still there. Again, I was afraid that this was going to be it. I thought this was maybe going to be the last time we would see this construction thing happen, and I thought there would be no payoff, and thankfully I was wrong. But the roof is still leaking, and Kermit almost gets hit by a bucket of nails that they're trying to lift up to help people repair the roof.
I love how genuinely afraid for his life he always gets when stuff almost falls on him, which happens weirdly a large amount.
I mean, you have to imagine part of that is coming from Jim, who is right below Kermit.
There is a real bucket of nails that does fall. Yeah, that's true.
Like, I was thinking about that in the library book one, where Jim is underneath the newsman as 20 books just fell on their heads.
I meant to mention that. How did they do that?
Hard hats? Maybe Jim, tucks himself under the desk when stuff is coming down? I'm sure they have a system in place, but a lot of times I'm guessing they just also drop stuff on them.
Yeah. Books are so pointy, though.
But Kermit does get to introduce the opening performance of the song Night and Day, which is a performance by some archaeologists who have entered an Egyptian tomb. And there we see some singing sarcophagi and some mummies that come out of the sarcophagi.
Many layers to this act.
Yeah. And one of those mummies is Gonzo.
It's Gonzo for some reason. The other two, I was like, are these people as well? I don't think they were, though, right?
I don't think they were. But for some reason,
kind of like Bert if he was a mummy a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. He's got that tall head.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a nicely staged number. It's I don't know. It's impressive visually. The song itself kind of was like, meh, whatever.
The way that the mummies sing it's so creepy, I thought, though. They whisper sing it raspily.
Yeah, and every time the chorus comes in, they feel like it's like a curse they're putting upon people.
Yeah. I thought this one was interesting. Kind of Halloween-y, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like I was in it felt like it was like a haunted house or something. Like you're walking through and they're singing a song to you instead of scaring you.
Says the man who has never been in a haunted house.
No, but I imagine that this is what they're like, except with singing.
Didn't you know, Sam? Every haunted house has singing inside of it.
That would actually be kind of fun. A musical haunted house would be pretty cool.
You'll never know.
Nights. Hit me on Matt up. We'll make you a musical haunted house.
Backstage, the foreman is holding up the roof because another construction worker had to remove the one piece of wood that was apparently...
piece. Yeah.
Well, if you got to fix it, it was rotting, Sam. He has to replace that piece of wood.
Yeah.
But of course, the foreman falls a good 20 feet down to the floor, and the roof starts to collapse with him.
This has really thrown the whole architecture of the Muppet Studio into disarray for me. Is it only one story? Like,
well, I mean, we have like a second floor kind of thing. Like they step down to exit.
Yeah.
They step down to go to the canteen.
sure, because they're like up on the stage at that point. So the stage is like a cheater half floor, and backstage is equal to that. So when
Yeah.
they step down, they're stepping. The canteen seems like a basement, but I have to assume that they're kind of like one floor and then up. When I think of a theater, though, in like a big city, they generally have like a huge building on top of them. You know?
Yeah, but if you also if you look at like back of house floor plans for a lot of places, the way theaters work is that there's like a slope down.
Mm-hmm.
So like the front door of where the audience walks in is like level with like the basement of the backstage.
Right.
And then there's like a slope in one direction. Maybe I'm getting this backwards, but there's like a slope to the theater. And so I think the canteen and where people walk in from Pops's viewpoint are at the
street
same level, I think.
Yes.
Like street level. And then we have this little sort of like half step up for the dressing rooms.
Uh-huh.
And apparently there's nothing above that because they
Right.
remove the roof, and the roof is removed from both the stage and the backstage.
That's where, in my head, it's always been in New York City, like the Chicago Theater, you know, has like a whole building on top of it.
Right, there's a bunch of offices up there.
But I guess it's more like the Roxy or something, like a local, like a small theater.
Yeah. We'll never know, because we do get a glimpse of the outside of the Muppet Theater and the Muppets Go to the Movies, but I don't know that that's going to answer any questions.
It is a huge building in that, and also in that Muppet video game we played, it was a huge building too, remember?
Well, yeah, but I don't know if that's canon.
That's like as close a look as we'll ever get, I think.
Gladys Knight then is ready to perform her song Friendship Train on,
big train.
It's a big train. We have Slim Wilson playing guitar back where the coal goes, stays
Yeah, I
until
guess
it's
so.
shoveled. I don't know parts of trains. What am I, a conductor? Get out of here.
Fozzie has run a train before, I think. He's been
Yeah.
a conductor a couple times.
Yeah, they must have his cute little conductor outfit, and they're just like, yeah, put him in that.
He's like, I call dibs on being a train conductor.
Yeah, I think we've seen Rolf and Fozzie both be train conductors multiple times at this point.
Yeah.
We also have some random Mupp-Pips,
Mupp-Pips, yeah.
as Gladys Knight
That's
refers
very
to them as, standing on the front of the train, seemingly in danger, and just kind of shoved through holes, it looks like, because they're clearly attached to this train set and people are reaching their hands through the hole of the train to perform them, and they just look a little uncomfortable. And this song, if you look up the lyrics about Friendship Train, is one of unity, trying to get people to come together. It's from 1969, so it's like, Woodstock era song, and parts of the lyrics say, this train stands for justice, this train stands for freedom, this train stands for harmony and peace, this train
That's on
stands
the
for
Peace
love.
Train. The Peace Train and the Friendship Train. There's another song called Peace Train about the same thing.
Really? Whose
Yeah.
song is that?
Cat Stevens sings it.
Yeah.
People are giant. And a love train too. We were gonna get there on a train eventually. In the 70s and 60s, we were like, a train is really the metaphor we're going for here. But so yes, this is a unity train. Then it's just this like early 80s 70s version of like racial harmony, where it's like, we'll just put all the stereotypes that ought to cover us, right?
Yeah, and it starts off a little weird because the Swedish chef pokes his head around the front of the
Yeah.
train with a cow, and
Yeah.
you're like, what are they doing
Were
here?
they hit by the train?
Yeah, because we don't. I guess there is a cow catcher at the front of the train, so that
Yeah, cows
worked.
famously are hit by trains.
But you see that, and you see some penguins, and so you're like, what is the Swedish chef doing here? This is weird. But then you see the stereotypical like Russian and Chinese and Native American Muppets start to pop up as well, and you're like, oh, they're lumping the Swedish chef in with different cultures for maybe the first time they've ever really done that to him.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, bring out a Muppet of each culture.
This beautiful Muppet represents all of Sweden,
Yeah.
the pride of Sweden.
This cow is Middle America. I don't
I
really know.
suppose the penguins is Antarctica. You got to get all the continents covered.
Gonzo's there to represent space.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just really stupid.
yeah, it's up until that point, I'm fully on board this friendship train.
Yeah.
But then it kind of derails at the end.
Yeah, you got to think some of these guests are also like, guys, come on.
This is not what I had in mind.
Dear Lord, what is this racist Muppet in my face now?
Yeah, like, do you guys listen to my song? What it's about? It's about not being racist. Backstage, we find out they have to take the roof into the shop to fix it.
Very good gag, I think.
Yes, the light is revealed from the sun. They are recording the show in midday.
In the day.
And
But earlier they said it was night. They were glad it's night.
well, I don't think that's actually night.
fucked
That's
up.
just Pops' dumb
He said, I'm glad it's
brain.
night too.
He hasn't been outside in 7 years, so he just is told it's night, and he's like, I'm glad it's night.
I'm glad for anything at this point.
But then we've got a UK spot, and you know what I put in my notes, Sam?
What?
These guys fucking love cavemen.
They have been using cavemen a lot lately. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
It's probably fun to dress a character up like a caveman.
I guess. And I guess if you're picking a random culture to dress pigs up as, and you got to pick cavemen.
Just stick with fictional cavemen, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do get to see the Brontosaurus puppet again from the Tony Randall episode.
This is a weird one though, because he's like clearly forced perspective in that one and looked huge. And in this one, he looks so teeny tiny when he picks up Animal's nose. You can see in the Muppet Wiki. His head is like smaller than Animal's head.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think of the caveman number here?
This song is so annoying to me. It's always been annoying to me because of the vocal performance of the song is irritating. And then to see this face, this Muppet face, that makes me so mad. Like, I don't like this Muppet. And to see him singing this song doubles the annoyance of like, you look annoying and you sound annoying. I can't handle it.
This one's like the opposite of the last one, where the UK spot in the last one felt like the best parts of the episode crammed into one UK spot, and this felt like the most easily forgettable part of the episode.
Yeah, let Floyd sing this song. At least his, there's not somebody with that voice.
Yeah, instead we get like a weird hillbilly caveman.
Yeah, doing like this is the original vocal performance of the song sounds just like this. But
then we do get.
Do you know who Alley-oop is?
No.
It's like a really cool comic from the 30s about a caveman who's like, it starts off as like a regular caveman comic, and then like 10 years into it, he gets like sucked up by a time vortex and ends up in modern time, and then starts going on adventures.
What? So it does make sense that this was a caveman.
Yes, that's why that was a caveman. They do love cavemen.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This does make sense that it was a caveman.
Oh,
But
I'm looking.
is like,
I'm
looks
looking
so
up
cool.
Alley-oop Adventures. Yeah, okay, that's a good-looking caveman.
Doesn't he look great?
Yeah.
He's from like the Popeye school of design. Kinda got the big forearms.
Huh. I like this caveman.
Yeah, he Alley-oop himself. I have no issue with the song. Annoying. But that's why at the beginning of the song they say there's a man in the funny papers we all know.
Oh, well, we didn't all know.
It's an homage. Yes, they were like, surely this beloved character will last through the ages.
Alley-oop, the new Mickey Mouse.
You learn something new every day, don't you, Matt?
I mean, especially when it comes to comics and your knowledge of them. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have so little.
I rotted out my brain as a teen reading all about old newspaper comics from the turn of the century for some reason.
Well, we appreciate it here on Commitment, Sam.
Yeah. Doesn't come in handy very often, but
Thankfully, your weird knowledge and Jim Henson's weird knowledge aligned. In this
they
instance.
did overlap, yeah.
But thankfully, we get to move on now to a delightful little number between Rolf and Gladys.
Yes.
Where,
I love when Rolf gets to talk to people.
Well, and when he just sounds like he has his own life going on and can't really be bothered to do this whole Muppet Show thing.
He's a rich tapestry. Yeah.
Like, I picture, which we kind of see in the Muppet movie, but it feels like after they wrap up shooting the Muppet Show for the day, Rolf goes off to a nearby piano bar and he works there every weekend.
Yeah.
And that's his real love.
Yeah.
It's like playing piano at a jazz club, hanging out with his regular patrons. And then he's like, oh, yeah, sometimes I go play in this orchestra.
I gotta go, yeah. I got a weekly engagement down at the Muppet Theater. I gotta go play. My friend Kermit, he booked me.
Yeah. My old friend Kermit, who I thought was going to put me on that Sesame Street show, I guess didn't.
Yes.
Took all the fame for himself.
He had me introduce the concept of this show, and then I was never invited back.
But Rolf is playing a blues number at the beginning that Gladys doesn't quite recognize, and he says it's by Fat Mama Jefferson. And Gladys Knight says, was she a black woman? And he's like, nope. And she's like, was she a white woman? He said, nope. She was spotted.
Yeah.
It turns out Fat Mama Jefferson was a basset hound.
I love the slow unveiling that she was in fact a dog.
Which like shouldn't be a surprise.
Says, like, she wasn't a dog, was she?
Yeah. But then Gladys Knight does remember who Fat Mama Jefferson is once she's told that she's a dog.
In this universe, she was a famous dog.
Yes. Well, because she's saying, I won't hang my head in shame because I step on my ears when I do.
I also love when like the pigs and the dogs have like a subculture all their own. And it's like in this world there are a species of sentient dogs that have their own music.
I just want Jerry Jewell to write a Rolf show. I know this, physically can't happen now.
Yeah.
But I want a Jerry Jewell Rolf show because every time we just get these little Rolf moments, it's my favorite stuff.
Yeah. And if the newer Muppet Show had gone on longer, there could have been an episode, a bottle episode in the bar or something with a little bit about what's going on in his life.
Yeah. Or he needs to leave the bar, and so he leaves like Rizzo and Pepe and Scooter in charge of the bar, and they ruin everything.
The A plot is Rolf going somewhere to do something, and the B plot is the three morons ruining the bar. Gosh, that was a good show.
It's a good show.
Anyway, so yeah, she sings to the Muppets, but she has tons of charisma, so it's fun when she's singing to the Muppets.
Yeah, and we get another random assortment of Muppets wandering in as she's singing.
A little less random this time.
Yeah, but Fozzie sort of just wanders in like he's lost at first, and then Scooter pops in, you're like, oh, I guess we're doing one of those things again.
Yeah. You think after behind the scenes, you think after like the 10th time they did it, they were like, can we figure out another framing device for the Muppets,
just say,
please?
Hey, everybody, come here.
Gladys is going to sing a song. Yeah.
But instead, Fozzie's just like, oh, I'm on stage. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then Kermit's like, people go out there, make him look less awkward.
Oh, I've wandered into your dressing room. Excuse me.
Yeah, New Zealand Janice Pops again is on stage for this one. Pop's really breaking out of that cage at the end of season 5 here.
Yeah.
But backstage, trouble's a brewing as the fog is rolling in. And, it's time to bring on the last number because Kermit is he says he's going to do something about it. He's going to, go fix the fog somehow, I guess.
Get some tarps or something?
Yeah, I don't remember what he says, but he's going to leave Scooter in charge. And so, of course, Scooter messes it up. And he sends on Senor Baffy. I don't remember how they pronounced it.
No, neither.
But Senor Baffy's assistant didn't show up, and so Fozzie is going to be the stand-in because Fozzie wants to perform. The problem is Senor Baffy is a blind knife thrower.
Which is funny. It's funny to me, at least, and I think it's funny on purpose because it's already foggy.
Yes.
But then the fact that he's blind is also it doesn't even matter that it's foggy. This would have happened anyway.
No, it's a very, very good conceit here. And it turns out he reacts to sound since he's a blind knife thrower.
It's like Daredevil.
He is the Daredevil of his day. This
is where they got the idea.
I think Daredevil did exist before this episode of The Muppet Show. At least in the comics. But since Fozzie then panics as knives are being thrown in his direction, he won't shut up and he won't stop yelling, which just means that Senor Baffy, who reacts to sound, keeps throwing knives.
Yeah.
And as Kermit and Scooter and everyone else starts yelling, knives come their direction as well.
Fantastic.
This was the very last thing they filmed for The Muppet Show.
Yeah. You know what? They nailed it.
Is there a reason that there are vines backstage in this episode?
I guess because the grapes are hanging out.
Oh, okay.
I didn't notice that until looking at these pictures. But yeah, I guess it's just the grapes have spread out a bit. Yeah,
because they're there at the beginning of the episode too, before the roof even comes off. So it's not like nature has taken over as the roof came off or something. These vines are just there, and I guess maybe they're just supposed to be the grapes are back in their dressing room or something.
They're loitering around off stage. Yeah.
All right, I like that subtlety then. But speaking of the vines, it is time for the closing number, which is Heard It Through the Grapevine. And Gladys is backed up by some grapes.
Yeah, it's fun in terms of like a literal version of a song. I think this is a pretty damn good one.
Oh, yeah. And, a little predictable maybe, but
Sure.
well done.
It also starts snowing, which is, a fun extra wrinkle.
Well, and Zoot is there in his nice
And
little
Zoot's
suit.
there too, yeah. Really wailing. He's like, Lips isn't going to replace me. I'll show you.
But yes, it does start snowing. And very quickly, like you see the snowbank building up in front of Gladys Knight, and it builds up
For
extremely
real
quickly.
life.
Yeah. And so they are forced to sign off the show, all dressed in their cute little winter gear, except Kermit is not.
He's got his thermal collar on.
Yeah. And Gladys has a big old fur coat. Surely one of the animals backstage would have a problem with that. I'm not sure which one at this point.
The Muppets eat each other, Matt. They don't care. They have no scruples.
I feel like skinning for fur is a whole other,
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe so. I really like this one. I actually don't even know why I gave it only 4 stars. Alley-oop was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an overall good one. I think maybe it just lacked a little bit of the polish of the 5-star episodes that we've had in the past.
That's
so
true.
I think it just didn't quite eke its way in there.
I think if the weather had started coming earlier in the episode, that would have been fun. If the weather or like the leaky roof had been messing with the skits a little bit more, I think that would have been fun too. Or the construction workers stuff had been messing with the skits a little bit more.
But that means it is time right now for our Muppet of the Week.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. You're the one who edits it. This week's Muppet of the Week is Lips.
We ain't done Lips yet.
No, we ain't done Lips yet. Lips is new to the Muppet Show in season 5. He has joined the Electric Mayhem as sort of a full-time member, even though there are times in the future where he'll disappear for a little bit. But he is the trumpet player in the Electric Mayhem and in the Muppet Show Orchestra, where he has replaced Trumpet Girl, who has now become Trombone Girl by default. He's got the large yellow hair and a sort of soul patch goatee thing happening. Maybe the most hippie looking of the Electric Mayhem. And Lips is often now thought of when people think of the Electric Mayhem. Oh, wait, I meant the opposite of that. And Lips is not often, I think, lumped in with the Electric Mayhem. If you ask people who's in the band on the Muppet Show, they'd probably say Animal, Janice, and then if pressed, if you're asking your mom, she might say, like, oh, the guy with the saxophone and then the teeth. But like,
my mom would know.
your mom might, but my mom wouldn't probably make it to Lips.
No. Well, my mom would know all of them and maybe wouldn't know Lips. I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. Lips,
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel when it comes to the Mayhem members here.
Yeah.
And that's probably because he didn't do many sketches outside of performing with the Electric Mayhem on the Muppet Show. And it's probably due to the fact, this is what Steve Whitmire said in an interview in 1999. He said, quote, he's hardly even a part of the band. He's not even thought of when we think of the band. I felt great when he was playing the trumpet, and I felt terrible every time he spoke. Because I wanted to do this Louis Armstrong kind of voice, and at that point in time, there was some question as to whether or not we would offend African-American people by this white guy doing a black voice as a trumpet player. We weren't sure. We might offend people who liked Louis Armstrong. I never quite got anywhere with Lips. I'd probably be real comfortable with him now, but at that point, I wasn't sure. I still wasn't ready to do a character.
Huh. Some good self-awareness on that quote.
Yeah.
Also, that doesn't seem like the voice that should be coming out of Lips. He just seems like he would be Zoot also.
Yeah, and even Dave Goles said in a different interview, he said, quote, Steve Whitmire has been frustrated that for 30 years he hasn't really found a character hook for Lips the trumpet player.
Oh, no. Why did they make him then? Why did you create me?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I guess they just decided, it seemed like from what I was reading, is that
They
because...
wanted to let Steve be in the band, huh?
Precisely.
Okay.
They wanted a character for Steve to join the regulars, the main dudes on the Muppet Show.
It's like that Mean Gene Green commercial or whatever that is like, hey, kid. And then they throw him Lips,
Instead of the jersey, they just throw him a limp puppet and said, do something with this. He's like, I'm going to try for the next 30 years. A couple interesting things about the Lips puppet. He has a special mechanism that allows his eyelids to turn inwards. And so if you look, his eyes look closed, like there's just a line across them. But when he's intensely playing the trumpet, they rotate
He can
in.
make angry eyes.
Yeah. So he just looks really intense when he's playing the trumpet.
He kind of looks like a Mario character to me. Doesn't he kind of have doesn't he look like a little bit like a Mario character?
I don't see that at
He
all.
looks like he could be friends with Wario.
I mean, I think he can. I'd say he has the energy of somebody who could hang out with Wario.
Yeah.
I feel like
He's actually a really good puppet design. The way that he melds in with the rest of the Electric Mayhem so well is kind of astounding. Because, like, who's the guy who designed all the early puppets?
Don Celine?
Did he make all the Mayhem?
I don't think he made all of them. He perhaps made some of them. I know Michael K. Frith designed Dr. Teeth, at least. Don Celine probably built most of them early on in the Sex and Violence era.
It does say that, yeah. Oh, yeah, but I guess Michael Frith designed a lot of the Mayhem, huh? And he designed Lips as well. So it does make sense that would carry over the design sensibility.
But I think what you're saying is absolutely true, where the fact that they're introducing a new Muppet a few years later and it still seems like it fits in with the rest of the band is somewhat surprising based on some of these other Muppets that we've seen pop up in season 5, like Mulch and other people, where it's like, they don't really quite look like that era of Muppet.
This guy's got too many lumps on his face to be a Muppet.
And Lips did debut in the 5th season for us. It was the September 1980 Carol Burnett episode when we first saw Lips, but I guess any season 5 episode that you saw first, whether on Disney Plus, it was the Gene Kelly episode, or if you live in the UK, something else. That was your first Lips episode.
It really doesn't matter.
No, because he's in the orchestra, he's in the theme song, he is there, prominently featured in no matter what season 5 episode you watch. And as we've already kind of mentioned, as far as performers go, Steve Whitmire was the main performer of Lips from 1980 until 2016, although Lips doesn't really do anything between 1992 and 2009.
Okay.
So he is, in 1992, he is in Muppet Christmas Carol, and then doesn't really do anything else until the Muppets perform at Rockefeller Center for like a Christmas concert in 2009. So
he's probably not in Muppet Christmas Carol more than just the cameo by the Mayhem in that Christmas party too, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't think he does anything else because he doesn't speak in that for sure.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, Peter Linz picked up the reins from Steve Whitmire and has been performing Lips ever since, including in the upcoming The Muppets Mayhem on Disney Plus, which by the time you're hearing this, we may have a trailer for.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Because D23 will happen between when we record this and when it comes out. But we don't know if they're releasing a trailer then or what's happening. But they are doing something with the Muppets Mayhem at D23.
I feel like this is a big chance, too. Because the Electric Mayhem, I think, is calcified in the Muppet movie. Like, that's who people think of. But I feel like this could really turn it around for Lips.
I mean, we'll see. He gets some stuff to do in the 2015 ABC show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But you know what? I will cross my fingers that Lips, this is his breakout moment.
I got to think that they're also thinking, like, this guy checks all the same boxes as Zoot. What are we going to do to make him different?
Yeah, because his only line that I can remember in the 2015 series is there's a part where they talk about gas station sushi, and he chimes in and says, "And we love us some gas station sushi."
That just sounds like Floyd or Dr. Teeth or Zoot could also.
Yeah, he kind of has like a George Carlin vibe to him, I would say.
Oh, interesting.
Like George Carlin as the car in Cars vibe is the read on Lips that I get. But that line was apparently the first time Lips had spoken in over 30 years.
Oh my God. Did a moth fly out of his mouth?
Like, whoa, Lips, you can talk?
Is it sad that I know the car from Cars name off the top of my head, but I don't know the name of like any American president off the top of my head?
Or the name of most of the puppeteers that we talk about every single week.
Yeah, and I probably couldn't pull George Carlin if you hadn't just said it.
But you know Fillmore, the VW bus that's in Cars.
Yeah.
All right.
I like Cars. I think that's a good movie.
You like Muppets too. You don't remember their names?
Owen Wilson. He's a car.
Yes, good job. According to the Muppet Character Encyclopedia, Lips got his nickname because he was once practicing his trumpet outside on a cold day and got his lips stuck to his trumpet.
That's cute.
But apparently Lips was actually named after the imagery used to promote the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That seems like a stretch.
Because it was
the concept of lips.
Yeah, so it was because that was one of Steve Whitmire's favorite movies.
That doesn't seem right to me. He plays trumpet.
Yeah. So
with his lips.
the quote, the reference for this, the citation was an interview where basically what was said is they asked him like, "Oh, we hear you really like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is that true?" And he said, "I love it. Why do you think I called one of my characters Lips?" And there wasn't like a follow-up question. And
Yeah, because the only thing you say is because lips exist and people play trumpets with them.
yeah, but they didn't follow up. So I think that's where they take that and go, I guess it's because of the lips on the poster?
Yeah.
Sure. But that is kind of all we know about Lips, the trumpet player. There's been no real story of his family or anything else. Maybe we'll get more of that in the Muppets Mayhem. But for now, this is what we are left with. And Sam, you are now forced to rate out of 10 Lips, the Muppet.
I got a lot of respect for Lips. I think he fits right in seamlessly. And I like the thought that the Electric Mayhem are open enough that they would invite a new person into their band. That seems nice to me. What do I rate out of now? 10? I'll rate Lips 7.5.
Wow. I don't really like Lips. He's getting a 5 from me.
Wow, you really don't like him.
I don't know. I understand that like visually he fits in with the Mayhem, but for some reason I still see him as an outsider.
Huh.
I don't think he's bringing enough to the table. Everyone else has like funny lines, sketches, they have a personality, and Lips just hasn't brought that yet. So maybe
He really
Muppets Mayhem will change.
He really wails in the theme song now, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he feels like he's taking up too much time for himself.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So until he proves me wrong, he gets a 5.
Notice. You're on notice, Lips.
So you better do something special on Disney Plus next year.
Or we're going to rip you to shreds.
Yeah. So, Sam, before we go, I need to check in. Did you have time to enjoy any non-Muppet things this week?
I've been watching baseball.
Still watching baseball, huh?
I'm still on my baseball shit. I'm baseball pilled at this point.
See, I'm F1 pilled. I'm still watching a ton of F1. I woke up early this morning to watch
We're
another race.
sportsmen now.
Look at us, go!
This is part of becoming almost 40.
Yeah, I think as we about to turn the age at which you can run for president, we become sportsmen.
We get interested in middle American things, and then we can be like,
yes,
let me be clear.
I am the common man.
Baseball.
You picked better than I did. You picked the American pastime. I picked the European
you picked the most
pastime.
European thing of all time.
Whoops.
Just fast cars, though.
I'll just be your vice president then.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. But also, it was actually my wife who started watching baseball. I watched with her. So.
Are you invested in it? Do you just
yeah.
Okay.
I'm starting to actually know all their names and be like, Mookie Betts, come on, baby, hit that ball.
So you have favorite players?
Yeah. Mookie, Freddie Freeman, all the people who are like really good on their team.
I like that
Were
you
you
can remember
thinking
their
about
names. No. I was like, how many names can he name of Dodgers that he can't name Jerry Nelson?
Do you know why I can remember Freddie Freeman, though? It's because that's the name of Captain Marvel Jr. from the comic Captain Marvel. So that is easy to remember.
Because that man has a comic book name?
It's a good name. There's other guys I like too. But baseball's fun because it's like watching, kind of like understanding the like meta game of the pitcher and being like, there's like that game going on and then the outfield game going on. And then it's like, it's cool to watch the pitcher and be like, oh, don't blow it, man. You're so close.
Yeah, I've just been, watching F1, playing the F1 video game. I have this problem with a lot of video games, like a lot of sports games specifically, where easy is way too easy. And like if I play the hockey game on easy, I'll score like 8 goals to 1 kind of thing. The moment I bump it up to medium, I start losing 8 goals to 1.
Damn.
And I have found I am the same with the F1 racing game where I played on the super casual amateur mode, whatever. I'm winning races, qualifying first. This is great. I bump it up like 2 notches on the difficulty thing, and suddenly I finish last. And I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm going to go back to the easy mode.
This medium of the video game. Bro.
I need this medium. But I'll just go back to easy and enjoy playing it again because
That's fine. There's no shame in that.
Yeah. But then we also watched In the Heights this week was the other thing we enjoyed.
What's that?
It's the Lin-Manuel Miranda
musical
movie.
Right.
Very good. Very fun.
Didn't see it. Looked fun, though.
Yeah. It's on HBO Max as of right now until they get rid of it. So before we go, we want to let you know what we'll be watching next time, and we already talked about it because we
I have
mentioned
to say it again.
it's our birthday.
Okay, let me look it up while you talk.
It's our birthday episode, and so we will be watching my pick, which was Scooby-Doo Adventures, the mystery map. I forgot the rest of it. It's just the mystery
We
map.
picked things with hard names.
Yeah, and yours was?
Eureka's Castle special called It Came From Beneath the Bed or A Nightmare on Magellan Street.
Which, if you want to watch on YouTube, is just Eureka's Castle.
Halloween special 1991.
Yeah, and mine is on HBO Max, so you can go watch it there. And
pretend you're me and that I'm how old was I in 91?
Four?
Four or five. I think we had taped it.
You've been 3 or 4.
Yes, so I'm that age and I'm watching it and I am scared out of my mind.
And then watch the Scooby-Doo one, and I don't know anything about it. So
Who knows what's gonna
hopefully it's good.
It could be terrifying.
Yeah. But those are the non-Muppet things we'll be discussing on our Muppet podcast next week. We need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitment.com to pick up an enamel pin, to check out our Patreon, or just listen to the episodes. You can email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions or links to other newly unearthed Muppet material. And you can follow this podcast on Twitter at CommitmentPod. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.